Okay, welcome back, everybody. As I said, we're in Verdict Watch in 3 cases, including Ghislaine Maxwell's case out in Manhattan. Now, yesterday, the jury deliberated for less than an hour. There's a lot at stake here as Ghislaine Maxwell faces 6 federal counts, including sex trafficking of a minor, enticing a minor to travel or engage in illegal sex acts, and transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. There are also 3 related counts of conspiracy. And I want to go right now to Law&Crime's Adam Klasfeld, who is outside the press room in that Manhattan courthouse. He has been inside the Ghislaine Maxwell courtroom to give us the latest. Adam, it is great to see you. I want to start with the latest. Right as we were about to come on, we just got word that the jury has a note. Can you walk us through what that note is?
Sure. Well, the jury note requested the transcripts for the testimony of all 3 of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged victims. Now, notice I didn't say all 4 of the accusing witnesses. They did not ask for the testimony of Kate, who is, because she was over the age of consent, has been instructed by the judge that she was not one of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged victims. So all 3 of the women who are described as the alleged victims, the jury wants to read their testimony again. So it shows that they're paying attention. It shows that we could potentially at least be here for a while. This is a jury looking for every word that was said by the 3 women on whom this case hinges. They want to hear from Annie Farmer again. They want to hear from Jane. They want to hear from Carolyn. So we could, we don't know exactly what in the transcript they're looking for. That wasn't included in the note. Maybe they are reading broadly from it. Maybe they're just trying to inspect a couple of few key details. But it just started things off by casting a very wide net.
Yeah, and I find it interesting because it kind of ties back in to the defense's closing argument, right? And yesterday, if you can shed some light for our viewers, what were some of the key points that the defense wanted to pick out regarding the credibility of these accusers? Because that's the big issue here. Whether or not the jury should believe the people who have testified against Ghislaine Maxwell, what were some of the bigger points that stood out to you in terms of what the defense articulated about the credibility of these witnesses?
Now, I was in the courtroom during that defense summation, and I could tell the jury was very engaged in the arguments that Maxwell's attorney Laura Menninger, was making. And what she was doing, she was systematically going through the record of what these women said in, for example, civil lawsuits, what they told federal agents before they went on the witness stand. And this case has a very long record. They were systematically trying to pick out what the defense perceives as inconsistencies over the years. Now, the prosecution strategy was quite different. They want to say, they basically note that traumatic memories are often the core memories, stand out very strongly in the mind, and then the peripheral details, even the defense witness concedes, are not as strong as the core traumatic memory. And the prosecution strategy was just basically to give a big picture perspective, saying that, yes, the defense attorneys may be able to point out subtle variations in the testimony. They may point out that there were, for example, $1 million settlements for all of the witnesses who took the stand against Ghislaine Maxwell as accusers. But they also made the point, according to the prosecution, that essentially all of those settlements are paid for. There's no more financial interest by any of these witnesses. So those are the points that the jury's scrutinizing now. They're looking at all of the testimony, trying to look at perhaps some of the inconsistencies flagged by Laura Menninger, and perhaps trying to see how the accusations mirror each other. For example, multiple witnesses said that Maxwell not only groomed them for Jeffrey Epstein's abuse, but also multiple witnesses have claimed that they touched their breath, that Ghislaine Maxwell touched their breasts, so actively participating in the alleged abuse.
Yeah, and if anybody's just joining us, I'm speaking with Adam Klasfeld. He is inside that Manhattan U.S. federal courthouse where the jury is currently deliberating the fate of Ghislaine Maxwell. Obviously, no cameras allowed, but Adam is our eyes and ears on what is happening. You know, Adam, I hear a lot of criticism in the media about the prosecution's case, that this was supposed to be a longer case, that their witnesses seemed unprepared, that the testimony that was given for the prosecution didn't really support the crimes that are alleged. You're in that courtroom. You're watching this testimony. Do you agree with the criticism that the prosecution seems, that they really feel defeated at this point, that they're in over their head, that they haven't presented as strong as a case as they maybe had promised?
So I haven't seen that. I have seen the criticism that you're referring to. The experts who I've been speaking to have said that a lot of that stems from misperceptions about what the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was supposed to be. A lot of people from the decades of history of it expected it to be a long-awaited reckoning on everything Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein related. But it's a criminal trial. They have objectives to prove 6 counts charged in the indictment, and it was narrowly tailored to achieve that purpose. Now, as for the preparation of the witnesses, the case having a long history means there's going to be a lot for defense attorneys to pick apart. And so I have seen the criticism. The experts I've spoken to don't seem to agree with that criticism. And, I have heard quite often that the government actually presented a very strong case, and now it's for the jury to decide.
Before I let you go, Adam, because I know you have a lot to report on what's happening here, I do have to ask you, because you've had a chance to see it, none of us have. What is the reaction of Ghislaine Maxwell in that courtroom? What do you observe from her? I mean, in terms of, I know she chose not to testify. Has she been very vocal with her attorneys? Does she appear nervous at times? Walk me through what you're seeing from the defendant herself.
What I'm seeing from Ghislaine Maxwell is someone very engaged in her defense, who appears calm, who appears confident, who, even facing the potential of a sentence that could put her in jail for the rest of her life, appears to be calm. She does not let it on in her face. Now, we are in the age of COVID-19, so of course she's wearing a mask, as are the jurors. However, you can just see it in her demeanor, how she engages with her defense counsel. And it's you mentioned that she declined to testify. The way she did it was with a kind of very confident and dramatic style, said, "Your Honor, the government has not proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt, and therefore there is no need for me to testify." That remark was emblematic of how she has comported herself in the courtroom, regardless of how she may be privately feeling with what she is facing in terms of the crimes charged.
Well, we'll see if that confidence translates into an acquittal across the board for Ghislaine Maxwell. Adam Klasfeld reporting from inside the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York from the press room. Adam, terrific reporting throughout this case. And if we get a verdict, we're coming straight to you. Thanks so much, Adam. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, as I said, we're in Verdict Watch, and not only the Ghislaine Maxwell case, but also Kim Potter and Elizabeth Holmes. A lot happening here on the network. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be live.
Hi, this is Dan Abrams with exciting news for all of our Law and Crime followers on YouTube. You can now get the live Law and Crime Network with YouTube TV for all of your daily live trial coverage, legal news, expert analysis, and original true crime programs. Subscribe to YouTube TV today, and then locate Law and Crime in the channel guide. And for only $1.99 a month, you can add the network to your bundle. Watch Law and Crime every day with YouTube TV. We put you in the jury box.